YouTube! Today I wanted to do my book haul. Yesterday I went to the recycling store where my mother-in-law works. I'm not married to my boyfriend, so she's not officially my mother-in-law, but we've been dating for almost 8 years now, so she feels like it. So I went with her and my boyfriend to the recycling store. She works there to help people get back on their feet, and she wanted to show us where she worked. So we were like, okay, let's come along. And she already told me a few times, there are a lot of books there. So I was like, don't leave me alone with the books. And they did. So now I have bought 20-ish books. 20 something. I don't really know how much books I bought. But I want to show you what I bought. I bought one book 2 times because of the coverage. So without further ado, let's dive in. So the first book I bought are from a series. In Dutch they're called De Aardekinderen, which I think will translate in the Earth Kids. I will check that out for you. So they're from Jean A. Amuel. All my books are in Dutch, but they're also, most of them are readable in English. I bought part 2. I bought part 3 with both these covers, because I think these covers are very pretty, but they didn't have all of the books in this cover. They didn't have book 1, so I still need to find that. I bought book 3, book 4, book 5 and book 6. So I just found the books. They're really the Earth Children, and these books are being filmed, or the first book is being filmed. So I'm really curious about that. And yeah, so I bought 6 books of them, even though they're 5 different books. But I think but I'll try to get I would love to get all the books with this cover, because I think it's really pretty. So now I have 2 hardcover from the large version, a soft cover, and 3 of these smaller books. And I know some booktubers can hold them so very pretty. I can't, they are going to fall, so I won't do that. But yeah, this is something I want to read. I've never seen the series before. I've heard some about it, but I've never seen them until this day. So why not buy all 6 of them, or 5? My mother-in-law thought she had the last one, so part 1. But she couldn't find it, so yeah, that's sad. Going on to the next book. The second book I want to show you is from Elizabeth George. The Dutch title is In Wankel Evenwicht. And this is also a translated book. I know from Elizabeth George that she is an English writer. She's from America. The title she gave it was Careless in Red. And I have the English version in my bookshelf. So now I have the Dutch version. My reading pace is a lot faster in Dutch. So I'm really happy to have it in Dutch. But if you never heard of Elizabeth George, I really recommend her. The story is a bit slow starting, I think, with every book. There's a lot of details, but in all those details you can find things when you're reading the book for the second time and you know what's going to happen, like, oh, she hinted that, oh, she hinted that, and that's just really amazing. So yeah, Elizabeth George, Careless in Red of in wankel evenwicht. Next are some books I'm very curious about. I read a lot of war novels. I mostly read about the Second World War because it took place here in the Netherlands, and my family history goes back with World War II. Always really interested in World War II. But this time I decided not to buy only World War II books, but some other books. First I'll do the World War II books, because I have the idea there aren't a lot this time. The first one I bought was, the Dutch title says, Ik ontsnapte uit Auschwitz. Well, you probably heard of Auschwitz. It's the place where a lot of Jews died. The English title is I Escaped from Auschwitz. I've read Anne Frank's diary and Memories of Anne Frank, and a Dutch book written by a woman who survived World War II as a Jew. She's seen many camps. Her name is Bloemen and de Evers. I had to check, she's up there, you can see her. I'll take the book. This woman, I think she's wonderful. I've read those stories. Anne Frank's diary stops 2 days prior to her arrest. I've seen the movie once, and it continues where the diary stops. I really got chills, I got sick to my stomach, and I can't watch movies like that. I really hate it, but reading it in a book, it's still very shocking. I'm still crying when I read books like this, but it's less... You know, you can put the book down and it's your own imagination. You can't do that to a film. They project it onto you. And I escaped from Auschwitz. And it's written by Rudolf Vrbra. I hope I don't butcher its name. It's V-R-B-A. And he escaped Auschwitz. He wrote this book himself. And I'm really curious what he's going to tell and what I can learn from him. So yeah. I will let you know when I finish this, because this will probably be the second or the third book that I'm going to read. So the next book I bought was De Naam van de Vader. I don't know if this book has an English title, because I can't find it in the front. And I think it's written by a Dutch woman or a Belgian woman, because her name is Nelleke Noordervliet, and that sounds pretty Dutch to me. I'm curious about this book. I think it's fiction. So the next book I want to show you is De Oorlogsbruid. In English it's The Imposter. Wait, let me check. The Imposter Bride. It's about a young woman who surfers after the war in Montreal. And it's clear she isn't the person she thinks she is. I'm really curious what it's about. I had some doubts buying this book, but yeah, it's about World War II and it's about all those things. So I couldn't resist buying it, and it was only €1.50, so why not? So the next book I want to show you is Het Duitse Meisje. The original title is Skeletons at the Feast, and it says a love history in times of war, and I'm really curious about this book. So I'm going to read this. I hope it's fiction. I think it's fiction, because nowhere it says based on a true story. But yeah, this is also on my list to be read. So the next book, also about World War II, is called Hoe ik nu leef van Mac Rossoff. The original title is How I Live Now. I could have translated that. But yeah, and it's about a 15-year-old girl who's from New York and spending time with her family in England. And around that time the World War starts. I'm really curious about this book. I love the cover. It has this shiny things and it's very pretty, I think. Oh, I see now it's a children's book. It says The Guardian's children's fiction. So I will read this, and if it's useful I will put it up on the bookshelf in my class. The next book is called De Boekendief. The original title is The Book Thief. It's written by Marcus Suzak, and on the back it says, when Dad tells a tale, you better listen. And I read it's about a girl who's trying to learn a language, or trying to learn how to read, with her foster parent, and the Nazis are burning books. So I think, and oh, there's something else. And she's also finding out her family is hiding a Jew in their basement. So that's a story. I'm really wondering how it will go on. The last book I have for in my World War II team is The Tweeling, and it's written by Tessa DeLu. So I'm looking if there's any information this is translated, but I'm not sure. So I can't find this book is translated. I think it is. I hadn't found it myself, but my mother-in-law went looking for it because she thought I would love this book, so I bought it. And it's about two twin sisters who are separated as children or at birth, I'm not sure. Years later they meet by accident, so they start telling each other their life story. One of them lived in Deutschland with a Nazi family, and the other grew up here in the Netherlands. So yeah, I'm really curious because they're going to tell each other, and the reader also, about their lives. So yeah, I'm really curious if this book is as good as my mother-in-law says. I hope it is, and I will let you know when I read it. I have two other books that are war related or after the war related. And the first book is Als de Nacht ons overvalt by Kate Saunders. And I think this is another translated book. We have a lot of translated books here in the Netherlands. So the original title is Night Shall Overtake Us. So it's about four 14-year-old girls living at a private school in England, and then World War I starts and their life will change for good. So I'm curious about this book. I normally don't read a lot about World War I. I just want to try it. I think I can learn something from it, and yeah, another war book. So okay. The last book of the war-related books from the Netherlands and stuff like that is from Thomas Sanders. In Dutch it's called Sperrgebied, and in English the book is called, wait for it, The Journeyman. And it's about the wall of Berlin, and about 9 men who are trained by the CIA and financed by the CIA to become the best military men of West Germany. So I'm curious about this book, but I don't know. Don't know if I like it, but yeah, we'll see. It wasn't a very expensive book. I didn't pay a lot for the books. So we can try. Then I have more books. I really bought a lot of books. And I'm not like some booktuber who reads every day, all day. Because I really, when I see those book hauls and they do them every month. And I'm like, how can you read that fast? How can you read that much? So this is my book haul. Maybe I'll show you 1 or 2 books a month I buy. Mostly because I'm afraid I will forget the title. But these books I'll probably be reading for the next year. So yeah. But I have some other books that are more of the now. And they're mostly about the Taliban. About the courage in Muslim women and all that good stuff. So there are like 6 books related to this topic. And the first book, it's called De Dochter van de Imam. It's written by Hannah Shaw. And I bet this book isn't an English book, a Dutch book, so yes. The original title is The Imam's Daughter. It's about the Imam's daughter, and for the outside world he looks like a good Muslim and a very friendly man. But behind closed doors he abused Hannah. So this is, I think, a biography of some sort. And when she hears she's going to get an arranged marriage, she decides to run away. And her dad is promising the community she will be punished like all girls who ran away. I've worked with Arabic and Muslim children on a previous job, and I really fell in love with their culture and stuff. This part of it I don't understand, but that's probably because I'm born and raised another way. I hope this book will help me understand something more about that part of the religion. So yeah, that's the first book, The Imam's Daughter. The second book is Ik ben Fawad, zoon van Kabul. So, and seeing that Andrea Busfield has written it, I'm pretty sure it's not a Dutch book. The real title is Born Under a Million Shadows. So it's about 11-year-old Fawad. His father and his brother are murdered. His sister is kidnapped, and he's living with his mom in Kabul on the streets. And when his mom finds a new job for a Western journalist, he thinks those people are nice, but they're unbelievers. They drink and smoke and that kind of stuff. So he's trying to protect his mother from these people, and then he finds out that the journalist that the mom is cleaning for is in love with the Afghan warlord Hayat Khan. So I really wonder what this book is, how it will continue, because being Western in those countries and looking at our beliefs and our way of lives, and I don't know how to say this, but I'm just really curious. So the next book is Dochter van Isfahan, and it's written by Anita Amiresvani. So it's probably an English book. Blood of the Flowers is the original English title. It's about Iran in the 17th century. A 14-year-old girl getting to marriage kind of age.
I'm not pretty sure how to translate that.
When her father dies, he doesn't leave her money, So the girl and her mother has to find a new life. And they're going to live with an uncle. And that uncle makes carpets. She's pretty good at it. But then she has to get a secret marriage. And she can't, turn to anyone because she wants to have a better life for her and for her mother. I think the cover page is, that girl is really looking happy. So I hope this book will end well. 3 books to go on this pile. I really bought too many books. Dagboek uit Baghdad. I think the translation will be diary from Baghdad. Let's check. Baghdad diary. Fundun al-Sa'ada or Hotel Paradiso. Aha, that was the realest translation I ever saw.
I don't know what I think.
It's in Baghdad and it's January 1991 and it's about the Gulf War and about a paintress, Nura al-Radi. I'm sorry, I'm butchering those names. And she decides to keep a diary and she writes about 42 days and she writes about the bombs and all that stuff, about the clean war. She also wrote this book, you can't see it. Oh yeah, you can see it. Herself, so it's another biography. It's a really thin book. I probably start with this book because it will take me like a day and a half to finish it. Maybe less, but it's 2 or 3 o'clock already. So, and I first have to put these all in my bookshelf and I don't know where. So if I do all this, then I'll start with reading this book. Because my goal is to read 1 fiction or non-fiction book each month. I know that isn't a lot, but I don't have time to read. So if I set my goal for 1 book a month this year, I'm still on track. I try to go for 2 books next year. 2 books a month. I need it because I bought way too much. The next book, the Dutch title is Onteerd. It's written by Mukhtar May of Mai, I'm not sure. And the original title is Déshonoré. I guess that's French. Mukhtar May is the symbol of women who are raped, murdered or burned just because of family's honor. She's an international known person because she is incredibly brave and she worked her way up from not being able to read to being a writer. She talks about the fate of women who have to deal with their family honor. And the last book of this pile, there are still 2 more piles. The Dutch title is In naam van de eer. So I guess this is something with honor in the title. Yes, Murder in the Name of Honor. It's about murder in the name of honor. It's also in the Netherlands. It says on the back page like the Netherlands. Yay. It's Rana Hussaini who wrote these books. Has been writing about this since 1994 about honor murders in Jordani, and she talks with victims and perpetrators, family, neighbors, judges, police officers, and she's also looking at the religious, the politic and the society point of view. Those things together are probably another shocking book. I'm really curious and anxious also to read about these themes. World War II I've read a lot about, but reading about women who are murdered and stuff just to save the honor of the family. My last pile of books starts with a classic, CSI. And CSI is an American series. I bought 3 books. The Dutch titles are Dubbelblind, Verboden Vruchten en Koudvuur. The English titles are Double Dealer, Sin City and Cold Burn. And I've watched CSI and I really loved the show. I was really sad when it cancelled. I've watched CSI, CSI Miami, CSI New York, and was CSI Cybernaut after that? I thought it was, but now I'm not sure. But yeah, I've watched a lot of CSI. So I'm really curious about the books. I have 4 books already of CSI, 2 of the normals, the original crime scene investigation, 2 of the Miami version. Still need to read those because when I bought those books I was still watching CSI. And I don't like watching something and reading it at the same time. This will probably be one of the books that will be in my bookshelf a bit longer before I start reading it, but I will get there. Someday I will finish all of these books behind me. Then I have the book. In Dutch it says Vals Alarm. It's written by Marelle Boersma. And I don't know if there's an English version of it, because Boersma sounds pretty Dutch to me. I bought this book because I got another book from this crime company series, also from Marelle Boersma, from a friend. When I saw the description of this book, I was like, I want to read this. It's about a girl who tries to balance her job with the care of her daughter and her husband, and her husband moves in with his much younger girlfriend one day, and it looks like he's planned all of it, so she's just shook and she's trying to do one last thing to recover the damage, and her ex-husband didn't like that so much. Another book I bought is, the Dutch title is De Nieuwe Messias. It's written by Michael Cordy, and I will see what the original title is. The original title is The Miracle Strain, and it's about a man who is a genius with DNA, and when he finds out that his daughter has a very aggressive form of cancer, he tries to save her by cloning Jesus' DNA. So he's trying to find this mystery group of people called the Broederschap, and they should have relics of Jesus, and he hopes he can get some DNA of Jesus to save his daughter. But then he noticed there's a murderer behind going after him, and that murderer seems connected to the Broederschap, which I think is the Brotherhood or something in English. The next book I have is, Dutch title is Piste Alarm, and it's written by Linda van Rijn. I'm not sure if this book is translated because it sounds pretty Dutch, her name. It's about a family who is skiing, and during a ski class their 4-year-old son disappears. And police start searching, but they can't find anything. And the case has a lot of connections with an unsolved case that happened 20 years ago. We're almost through the pile. The next book I wanted to show you is Mijn Naam is Hanna, and it's written by Valerie Blumenthal. So I think this is another translated book. And the original title is Saturday's Child, and it's about Isabella, who's having an awesome life, and one day she finds a little girl in a mall. No one's caring for her, so she decides to bring the toddler with her to her home, and she finds out that this child is being abused really bad. And the kid has a tag on her clothes with the text, "My name is Hannah. If you find me, you can keep me." Boo! I think it's pretty heavy. On to the last book of this haul. This book is called Anne, or Anne. I bought this book without even looking what it's about. The reason I bought this book is because the main character in my NaNoWriMo fiction is called Anne. And it's written exactly the same. So I was looking through books and I was like, oh my god, I need to have this. Maybe I will write it during NaNoWriMo because I think it's really funny to write about a girl whose name is Anne. A book that has the title, a book with the same title. So yeah, I still think it's pretty awesome that this was my secondhand book haul. Thank you for watching my video. If there's any book that got your interest, I really want to know. So please leave a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm just starting, but I'm trying really hard to make useful content. Thank you for watching. Bye.